everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rose, and today somebody requested a bookshelf tour. So a bookshelf tour you shall receive. Let's go. Alright, so I have a total of 2 book full shelves, 5 shelves per full bookshelf. And we're gonna start with this one. So this one is kind of like my fantasy era books. So I have some random books right here, and then I have Jennifer L. Armentrout section right here. So starting from right here, actually. All of these are Jennifer L. Armentrout books. I love her books. I love her writing. Her fantasy romance series, Storm and Fury and White Hot Kiss. Those ones are my favorites. Over here, I just have like random books. Anne Darkin, Red Queen. I actually gave away a lot of my books to half-price books. So, well, I sold them. To half-price books, so that's why I don't have as many as I used to, but yeah. This side of the shelf, ignore my Atlas Lanyard Solo Cross team. On this side, we have mainly my Sarah J. Maas books. We have my Throne of Glass series. This is my exclusive edition that my mom got for me. Then we have the rest of the series over here. I have my mini version, see, mini. Then over here, I have my Carrie Maniscalco books. Let me move this for you guys. Kingdom of the Wicked, which I absolutely loved that book and highly recommend it. It is an amazing, I just read it in a night. That's how good that was. All right, moving down a level. This is my Sarah J. Maas shelf, along with my 2 game balls. So we have my exclusive edition of A Court of Thorns and Roses, my Court of Thorns and Roses series, and then my Crescent City. If you're wondering why this isn't with the rest of my Sarah J. Maas books, it's because they couldn't all fit on one shelf like I wanted them to. And then I have my prize jewels, my National Lacrosse League game ball, as well as my Premier Lacrosse League game ball, which I have to fix, but still. Eric Law gave me that ball 2 weekends ago when I went in person to the game. So, prize jewels. Now let's talk about this shelf. Alright, so this shelf is probably, alongside this shelf, my other favorite shelf. As you can tell by just one book series taking up the entire shelf. This is my favorite book series of all times, and I will always recommend it. It's called Mates by Marianne Weir. It's a fantasy, it's more romance. It's more romance. Werewolf romance, reverse harem. This book series has it all. Originally written on Wattpad as well, and she published it. I bought them immediately. Ebooks and physical books. So that's how much I love this book series, so go read those books. Moving down another level, we have what I call my romance bookshelf, mainly because this shelf is all romance books and no like fantasy or anything. So I have a few others scattered on my shelf, of course, but maybe someday soon we'll be able to have another romance shelf. So anyway, book highlights for this one, let's see. Oh, Red, White, and Royal Blue, August 11th. The movie is coming out, The Love Hypothesis. That's great. I recommend any Anna Hume book. So, yeah. And then on this side, we have my Bridget Commermer books, and I actually was able to go and meet Bridget Commermer at a signing a few years ago. Oh man, that was 2 years ago. That's crazy. And so she signed these 3 books that I have of hers. Of course, I've read almost all of her books. She is an amazing writer. And this one I got from Barnes & Noble. No, Books A Million, sorry. Bookshops these days. So, these ones are also signed, but anyway, I haven't read this one yet because I'm waiting for the next one to come out because I hear that this one leaves off on, her famous cliffhangers, which I got sucked into with this one. So, Forging Silver and Stars is once again just an amazing book, and I highly recommend reading it. It does leave off in a cliffhanger though. That's like her signature move. So, then I have the Selection series, which, again, this is a series I will always recommend. I originally, even The Heir and the Crown, like I originally listened to these on audiobooks and then I bought the physical books. That's how much I loved this series. I love these two books too. I know that's a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I can't help but love it. You know, it's so good. And then, of course, we have my Shatter Me series, which I originally read all of these on ebook. I got the physical copies because I just loved it so much. If you're wondering why this is off to the side like this, I mean, I think it does look pretty good, which is why I've left it. But originally it was under all these bookmarks because it's just easier to keep all my bookmarks in one place, and I don't have like a little basket or anything. So I've just kept them on top of my Shatter Me series. And I use this book quite a bit for my YouTube shorts and just like my TikToks. So I've just resigned it right here. So I don't have to keep putting the bookmarks back on top of it and that whole deal. So, all right. This shelf is split between mainly Cassandra Clare and mainly Danielle L. Jensen. I have my Faith Andrews signed bookmark. And then I have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is an amazing book. So magical. It literally does transport you into another world, into another universe, and it's great. Same with the Cassandra Clare books. I haven't read this one just yet because it's a long one, but maybe sometime soon I will. I've been reading mainly romance, so it's been hard, but this cover is so pretty. Anyway, I have These Violent Delights by, I feel like I should know her name, but I don't. Chloe Gong. Oh, yes, I do know her name. I was thinking of somebody else. I have Prince of Never, Radiance, both fantasy, fae, romances. Well, this one is fae and something else, but that's a great book, all the same. And then I have, of course, The Wrath and the Dawn, and then I have my Danielle L. Jensen books. Now, Danielle L. Jensen is an author I will also forever recommend. Danielle L. Jensen is a fantasy romance author. My favorite series by her is Dark Shores. I know The Bridge Kingdom is really popular, and that is another amazing book series that I also recommend. But the focus is mainly on Danielle L. Jensen's Dark Shores, which the 4th book is coming out soon. I read this back in 2021, and she said it left off on the massive cliffhanger ever. Like, I'm never gonna forgive her for that. But anyway, that's a different story for a different video. Just know that the 4th book is coming soon by her, and I'm super excited for that one. So over here, we have a mixed amount. There's no, like, specified thing like there is for the most of these. So over here, we have some romance, fantasy romance. I bought, funny story with this book, actually. So, I love the Remnant Chronicles. Definitely recommend if you like fast-paced fantasy romance. This is always a good way to get out of a book slump and everything as well. Very fast-paced, very good. Funny story about this, I borrowed those books off of a library app because at the time I didn't have Kindle Unlimited, which is a way you guys can read them. And the last book, the second book left off on a cliffhanger, and the last book was a 2 weeks wait. So instead of waiting, I just bought the physical copy. Worth it. It was so worth it. I sped through all of the series, and it was so good. Furyborn. Oh, this is another great one. I mean, it's a fantasy with romance. So the difference between a fantasy romance and a fantasy with romance is that a fantasy with romance, like this book, is more on the fantasy side than the romance side. And they're not equal too. It's mainly fantasy with a tad bit of romance. As you get further into the series, there's more romance, and this is a book series I also highly recommend. The second book is the best. That's my opinion. I have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is a big popular book that a lot of people really love. I'm just not one of those people that really love it. I enjoyed it when I was reading it, but it's not one of those books that I'm in love with. Unpopular opinion. I have An Heir Comes to Rise. I have this beautiful copy of Persuasion by Jane Austen that my friend got me for my birthday. She loves classical books, so super, super pretty. And I'll show you all the details, but I don't have that much time. I have a few romances out of left field, which I got in the clearance section of Books A Million. And then I have Jason by J.L. Wire. This used to be one of my absolute all-time favorite romances. It's not anymore, but it definitely still holds a very, very large place in my heart. So I will always recommend this. It's a love triangle. They're all battling for her. Kind of a reverse harem, but not really a reverse harem. It's confusing. But read the book and you'll find out. We have the Inheritance Games, of course, and then the Hawthorne Legacy. Always a book, once again, I'll recommend for reading slumps in particular. Very fast paced, so you can really just speed through short chapters. And beautiful cover, too. Then I have Shadowfrost and Godstorm. This is the second book. This is the first book, Shadowfrost. This author wrote it when she was 15. And I think it's really admirable because it is a really good book. It is a really good book. Once again, it's a fantasy with some romance. 6 friends on an adventure, so if you like that stuff, definitely read Shadowfrost. We have Tides of Mutiny, and then funny story about this book too. I went to St. Thomas a few years ago. This was $40 on the island. Of course I didn't buy it for $40. Instead, I waited. This year I found it on the clearance section at Books A Million for $5. So, and then I have These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. I have yet to read the second book, but it did come out earlier this year. I have Brandon Sanderson, The Way of Kings. I read up to book 3 of this. I only have the first one though because I took the other ones to half-price books. And then I have Runebreaker by Victoria Aveyard. And then for the last 2 sets of shelves, down here I have my middle grade books, the books I read when I was younger, including Keeper of the Lost Cities and The Trails of the Morgan Crow. My friend actually got that one for me. I haven't read it yet though. I have Defender of Walls. I have my ARC advanced reader copy of The Genesis of Misery, which was a fantasy sci-fi book. It was pretty good. Then I have Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan, and then of course I have my Leah Bardugo section down here. Always recommend Shadow and Bone. Always. Then finally, my last shelf that isn't even full or complete yet. These shelves are really big too. So I still have a ton of space on my bookshelf. I have my 2 sad romances that I've yet to read because they're sad. I have Nightshade, The Princess Will Save You, which I don't really enjoy. A Number in the Ashes, Torch Against the Night. Twilight, I have not read yet. I need to read that, but I haven't. I have a Jennifer L. Armentrout book, If There's No Tomorrow. I have The Cruel Prince, One Dark Throne, A Separate Peace, Pride and Prejudice, and then I have my Amanda Hawking books, which I will always recommend once again. Hidden Kingdom, aka The Canon Chronicles, is a super fast-paced book. This is 3 books combined, which I prefer it that way. It's less expensive. So The Canon Chronicles, super great books though. Follows, a young hero. Well, she wants to be a hero. Anyway, it's a long story, but definitely go check out these books. Especially if you like mystical creatures, then Heart and Shadow and Valkyrie, that one would be it for you. Heart and Shadow. So, that was my bookshelf tour. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye-bye!